How goes the family? Welcome back to another great episode of Larry's Anything Goes. Today's discussion is actually a discussion that hits close to home, and I definitely can't wait to talk about it. And let's get into it. It's a recent story that's gone viral across social media. It's about a teen who's basically could not get a job and he was trying to get basically a summer job at Six Flags because of his hairstyle. Now, when you're a teenager, a lot of teenagers have various different amounts of hairstyles, and at the end of the day, we're talking about an amusement park here. We're not talking about working at the headquarters of Starbucks or Google or anything, or anything of that nature, but I digress. I love this story because, I read it the other day. I know it's been around for a while, it's not new, but it speaks to why having an entrepreneurial mindset and circle, because that means the most, is crucial to most people's survival nowadays. The gentleman I'm talking about is obviously you see on my left-hand side. Yeah, his name is Kerryon Washington, and he is at the age of 17 years old. And he was very disappointed when Six Flags rejected him for a job that he was applying for the summertime. The main reason why they rejected him is because of his hairstyle. The employer stated that they would hire him if he cut his hair. And like I stated earlier, we're talking about an amusement park, not the military, not law enforcement, not a real, career at a corporation, but we're talking about an amusement park here. I digress. The amusement park stated, and I quote, "Kerryon's hairstyle is equated to having visible tattoos." We're talking about an amusement park once again. Kerryon Washington didn't change his hair, and I commend him for that, and he started looking for another job elsewhere. So what ended up happening is his story ended up going viral on social media, gaining about 17,000 shares, which I think is amazing. The post brought in numerous amounts of job offers from multiple businesses who did not care about what style that this young man has. What hairstyle that this young man has. So I commend those other corporations for, stepping up to the plate and doing what they had to do. And bear in mind, this isn't a bash on Six Flags. I just think this is a bash on people being so uptight and whatnot in society nowadays when it comes to specific things. I get it, being professional and being a great worker matters the most, but this is why a lot of organizations deter young people from wanting to work for them while they're in high school, while they're in college, or even after high school and college. Because we do live in a time. One thing I can say that I like about my generation, the millennial generation, the younger generation, is because we are a lot more laid back, we're a lot more mellow. We are as one of the most diverse generations around. So there's a lot of things that we just don't care about because we have a mindset, and I know I do. If it doesn't affect my everyday life and it doesn't hurt anybody or break any laws, then I'm not worried about it. So that's just, but that's just another story for another day. So I commend this young man and his mother for first staying strong and continuously fighting the good fight when it comes to this. Now, so with the post bringing all this great stuff, that post on social media, and like I said, you gotta love his mother, because I was raised by a strong single mother. And she, thanks to her, I am the man who I am today. And I give credit to her and other mothers out there that fight through these specific situations. Because his mother stated, and I quote, "My son's hair doesn't tell you about his work ethic." I agree. So what ended up happening is that Kerryon Washington received an Instagram message from Corey Castor, the head of development for IMG in my favorite city, Los Angeles, which represents models including Gigi and Bea Hadid, Kate Moss, and Ashley Graham. Now, bear in mind, I don't know anything about these people because I know nothing about the modeling industry. I'm gonna be honest with you on that one. But this is a big deal from the research I've done and from what other people have told me. And what ended up happening is that Corey Castor, friend, actually sent her an article about Kerryon's whole experience, and his photo immediately just caught her talent eye's attention, because she's a talent scout. So I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. So what ended up happening is, to shorten this story up, because it's a great story, and I will try to remember to put the link to the story in the video section, is that Corey, first, Kerrion had accepted the offer to go through the training with local modeling agency. He went to a few photo shoots and he actually liked it, because he's a high school kid. It's like, who knows what was going to happen, but I'm glad he had the tenacity to say, hey, let me give it a shot, right? Especially since the work, and he likes it, especially since the work, there's no manual labor involved and it's not hard at all. And most likely he's probably inside a nice air conditioning area. And so given the fact that he lives down in Fort Worth, Texas, I'm sure he's not complaining about that. So at the present moment, Kerrion is still undergoing training and his portfolio is being put together for IMG models for consideration. Castor says, and I quote, that she hopes that nothing but the best for this young man, Kerrion, and hopes that his story inspires others. Because I can tell you, after reading this story, he's definitely inspired me to keep pushing forward on my dreams and aspirations for myself and those around me. Carius Washington, who's his mother, believes that Six Flags discriminated against her son and said there needs to be a law put in place to stop such bias in hiring. Now, I'll leave that to the state legislatures and the Congress people to figure that one out. But, I think when it comes to these kind of jobs, I'm just like, are you serious? That's just all I can say. It's just, we're not talking about professional jobs here. We're talking about at most minimum wage jobs that are seasonal. But what do I know, right? Anyway, Six Flags decided to change its policy. According to Sharon Parker, who is the communications manager, stated that now males are allowed to wear dreadlocks. So sad that it took all this for that kind of policy to take place, but hey, stuff happens. Kerrion Washington has a great and positive attitude about the situation, which once again, I commend him for that as well, because you have to stay positive when the days are dark and the storms come, because the sun will always come out tomorrow. You know what I mean? So he stated that when one door closes, another one always opens. His mother thanked Six Flags for not hiring her son because the situation changed the outcome of his future. My 2 cents on the situation is this. I commend his mother, Carius, and Kerrion Washington for being brave, honest, yet coming out in a tremendous fashion with this situation. We all have things that we consider to be opportunities, but they do not work out for us. And then as time passes, we see that those situations were not opportunities to begin with for us. We thought they were, but they weren't. That rejection was actually a great thing for this young man and, his mother. And I've been rejected by multiple jobs before and business opportunities. And now looking back at it in hindsight, when I look at those so-called opportunities, I know that they weren't for me. And I'm glad that I didn't get it. And even a lot of times, even when I got an opportunity and I actually went to that area, next thing I know, I'm just like, oh my God, this place sucks. These people suck. I can't stand this nonsense. I should have stayed where I was at previously, and this isn't for me. And it's like, but you know what? It's called growing pains, and we all go through it. And it makes us strong. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I commend this young man for doing that because, hey, I've been through those situations where I'm just like, oh my God. Like, really? You think one thing is, you think the sky is gray, but really it's blue. It's just one of those, I use that crazy analogy because we've all been there. And, it just proves that when one door closes, another one will open, and that's the respect that I give to this young man and his mother. And I truly want nothing but success for this young man, Kerrion Washington. And I also hope that he learned that. And I wish I would have learned this lesson when I was his age, because I got rejected a lot for positions at the same time. When I was looking for a job, it was hard. And back then, I'm showing my age, back then you actually had to walk, because I didn't have a car in high school. So I had to walk to the locations to look for a job and fill out an application right then and there. Nowadays, the one thing the kids got easier, they can fill out an application online. They can do it on their cell phone or tablet or whatever they have and computer, and they just make it happen. So I had to walk in the blistering heat to go look for a job. So that's why I said it's like you crawl before you can walk in life. And he's definitely walking now, so I give him that much credit. So much respect and much love on that aspect. But I hope he's learned from that. And I also hope that he's learned that as long as you try to get a job from someone, you have to play by their rules. Whether it's right or wrong, it's another story. I'm not going to debate that, but I am going to say that as long as you're trying to work for somebody, you got to play by the rules. But if you own the company, then for the most part, you can make your own rules. So if Kerrion Washington is successful with his modeling career, which I really hope, that he is, and it looks like that, I just hope that he looks into creating a business when he gets older and get around people who are business minded and who have done it, so that, future young men like himself, because there's going to be more of these situations occur, can, work for him and not worry about, what their hairstyle is or how they're dressed, and all that good stuff. So I say good luck to him in that aspect, because, those days are going to come, and it's going to continuously happen again and again. So I say good luck to him, and good luck to those that are around him. And just remember, and I think that's the one good thing about his generation, and obviously the generations to come, because with all this great technology we have nowadays, the information's out there. You just got to want to go find it and obtain it and then implement it. I think most people have not bought into the I'm just going to work for somebody the rest of my life and that's it thing, because I don't care where you live at, it puts you in a vulnerable position if you don't have some sort of asset accumulation, and you're not around people who are talking about how to obtain assets and things of that nature. That it can put you in a vulnerable position. And as long as you work for somebody, it's like living in somebody else's house. You got to follow their rules. So, but now he's got an opportunity to where if he makes enough money, and usually successful models do, he can create different opportunities for himself and others around him. And he can hopefully become some sort of an entrepreneur and do whatever the heck he feels like, doing. He just has to be ready to put the work in and get the knowledge and all that good stuff. I mean, the only models that I know that are very successful, because I don't follow, is two in mind: Tyra Banks and Ashton Kutcher. Okay, now these are people who are no longer models, but they've made a tremendous amount of money doing multiple things because they thought outside of, I'm just going to be a model box. So I say to this young man, if he's successful in his career, I know he's just getting started, he's young guy, 17 years old, that I implore him to continuously push forward, and obviously enjoy life. But as he gets older, just think about, never forget this moment in his life, so he can continuously be inspired to not only inspire others, but to inspire himself and to create something that could last a lot longer than a job. Because as I heard the other day, and this is true, one thing a man and a woman cannot pass down to their children is a job. They can pass down a house, they can pass down some clothes, jewelry, stocks and bonds, a business, but they can never pass down a job. So this is food for thought, nutrition for the whole brain. Larry's Anything Goes is the name, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and please like and subscribe as well. And check out my online store if you're interested. Got some nice products out there, so check it out. Take care.